today is
24th.
24th, 2023. I'm Diane Barrett with Kathryn and Louyse. I'm here with the BE Collection. And Kathryn is going to participate in our coming out series. Thank you. Yeah, we need music, you're right. So first of all, your name and your career actually would be helpful.
Haven't I done that before?
Yes.
Okay, my name's Kathryn. My last name is Louyse. And I am, for my career, I was a graphic artist. And now that I'm retired, I am still a graphic artist. So I shifted from working for a living to working pro bono.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Right. It's interesting. I've noticed that lesbians never retire. We just go on to another thing that we're doing.
Well, yeah, you have to stay busy. Otherwise, life will pass you by and you'll go, when did that happen? Right?
I can't believe that happened. When we die, right?
Yeah.
You're right.
So
now that we've established people can come out as early as 5, where do you fit in that?
I fit in at about the 40-year-old mark.
Okay.
So no, the irony is at 5, there was absolutely a difference between the boys and the girls, but it never occurred to me that there was a possibility that you could have a relationship with a girl, somebody of your own sex. It wasn't something that I was brought up with.
Where were you brought
up? In a good Catholic environment, Roman Catholic environment.
In California?
No, back east, Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Did you go to Catholic school?
Oh, yes, absolutely. 12 years. Parochial. I was given a choice when I was in my junior year. So it was between junior and senior year, I was given a choice to move to public school. And I thought, no, I've gotten a very good education. So why would I move to a public school, which I have brothers and sisters who went through public school education, and there is a distinct difference between the two. Absolutely.
Right.
So anyway, and also I loved the discipline. Nuns were like, got to do it this way.
Did you feel close to the nuns? Did you revere them? Did you fear them? Did you?
How about a little of everything? Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Nuns can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And I had some nuns that I had one nun in particular, and I'm sorry, but she passed away shortly after the last conversation I had with her.
Really?
And yes, and I was unaware of it, that she was even ill. And she called, so I was about 20 years old when my older brother died, and Sister Louyse reached out to me, and it was remarkable because I didn't know how she was able to track me down, but she did, to offer her condolences over the death of my brother, which was very surprising. So,
very nice.
Yeah.
Good radar.
Oh, I guess. Yeah. So
you came out at 40, you think?
Well, no, okay. So when did I embrace my lesbianism?
Yes.
When
did you think that you were a lesbian?
That was like, well, it was a series of baby steps. It was, so when I was 20, one of my sisters invited me to go away for the weekend at a friend's house, at one of her friends' homes up in Maryland. And I thought, well, I don't know. Yeah, sure, I'll go. So I went, and I was really having no struggles with my sexuality at that point. It was like, well, you're neither here, you're not, I wasn't even thinking about it. It wasn't on the radar, quite frankly. So I went to this house, and late at night we were sitting around talking, and it was the homeowner and myself were having a conversation. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, it was like one of those moments where you go, oh my God, this person's coming on to me. Oh my God, now what do I do? So
First time you had that awareness with
the weird part is, many years later, after I had been out for a number of years, a woman that I was really enamored with, and I didn't know what to, it's like, you don't go, oh, I'm a lesbian, and oh my God, I'm enamored with you. It was like, we would vacation together because we worked together. So we would vacation together. And when I broke up with my boyfriend, I went over to her house. Or her apartment, actually. She and her parents were, she was still living with her parents. And I knocked on the door late at night, and I said, do you mind if I camp out in your room tonight? And she's like, oh God, yes, come on in. So I came in, and over the course of several years of working together and vacationing together, it occurred to me that I had a huge crush on this woman. Huge. I had no idea what to do with it. It wasn't like on my radar. So
was there a sensitizing event that triggered that?
Okay, so she moved down to Richmond, and I moved down to Richmond shortly thereafter. And she had a boyfriend, and I had a boyfriend. And
you were in college then?
No, actually we worked together. It's a long story, but we were working together in Richmond, and so we worked together up in near Fairfax, and then we moved down to she moved to Richmond, I moved to Richmond, and we got a job in the same company. And so one day our mutual boyfriends go out to get some beer. So they went on a beer run, and I was laying on her bed, and she came in and laid on top of me. And I thought, I was so stunned. I said, get off of me right now.
Did you say that?
I
Wow.
did.
I believe that. No, it is stunning.
And yeah, and so, I mean, it was just like, oh my God, all this time I've had a crush on you, and then you instigate something. Get off of me. Let's not take it anywhere. So years and years later, and I do mean years, I had moved to California by this time, and I actually ran into her. I was coming back to Santa Barbara from a visit in LA, and she just happened to be on coming into the same bus terminal. I'm not even sure where she was headed, but I said, what are you doing here? And she's like, what are you doing here? So we ended up talking for a while, and it turns out that there was a mutual attraction. But at the time I I had no idea what to do with it.
Right.
So,
So
um,
going back a little bit, when you said, get off of me right now, did she oblige?
yes, she did.
Mhm.
Yes, she did. And so then about a year and a half after this incident, I was up in, maybe it was less than that. Maybe it was about a year later. I was with my sister visiting another woman, and the woman came on to me, and I was like, well, hell, I've tried everything else. Why not? You know, I have not tried everything else.
Uh-huh.
It's a whole world out there that I've, yeah.
Waiting.
So so we ended up going to bed together,
Mhm.
and apparently, long story, but and I won't go into it, but that was my first lesbian experience.
Uh-huh. Do you think it was your first significant relationship that you would
You
define?
know, she might have,
How
but
about
it was a weird. It turned out to be very strange,
uh-huh.
because she liked to she liked threesomes and I didn't.
Mm.
So eventually,
That's including another woman or a man?
women.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So anyway,
Mhm.
um, so then I moved to California with another woman,
Mhm.
and we eventually went our separate ways. And at that time, I was not making a conscious decision about whether I was this or that. And so that went on for, we moved to Santa Cruz. I came down to Santa Barbara, had a couple of relationships with women, and then eventually arrived in LA and had relationships with both men and women.
How old
And
were you then? About how old?
I was in my late 30s.
Mhm.
So when I turned about 40, I had my last relationship with a man, and it was kind of a one-off. It was like, it's like, okay, now I can I have gone as far as I want to go with men,
Right.
and you know, it's a different situation.
Mhm.
Men and women are very different.
That's right.
And I laud the women. I laud people who very early on conclude their sexuality. It is, for me, it was a real struggle, but it was a very it's when I finally made a decision, and for me it was a decision. It was kind of like a breath of fresh air. You know, you have your eureka moment over here, and you realize there are other options. So when I was about 20, I came to the awareness there were other options, and I really had not made that acknowledgement. So 20 years later, 20 years down the line, when I finally came to the conclusion, oh, this is it's still a struggle. You know, relationships can be very, very challenging sometimes,
Right.
but I'd rather be challenged by a woman.
I
So
understand. I understand that transition too, because I remember when I finally said to myself, I'm throwing my birth control pills out. It was like, so it was black and white. I was just, it was such a relief.
oh my God.
Yeah, because that back and forth stuff is very, very difficult for everybody
Yeah.
that's involved in it.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's because of society. it's a hard decision or a hard choice, you know. We're in the minority in so many respects.
Right.
So yeah, people that come out early on and embrace it, good on them. You know, we need to hear from more of them.
We are.
You are good.
Well, I
So
mean, age 5, that's pretty early.
that is very early. Oh my God.
There were about 3 women that came out at that age, but they really didn't know. They just, like this one woman was sleeping in kindergarten on her blanket with her girlfriend. And that was a problem. So the teacher sent that information to the girl's mother.
Wait. Why was it a problem?
Because that her mother didn't want this person sleeping with her daughter.
Oh, wow.
That nap time thing.
Yeah.
I never liked nap time. I could never understand it. I thought I just had a nap at home, So anyway, but what happened? So her mother said to her, well, why are you doing this? And she said, because I love her.
Wow.
So simple, right?
Wow.
Age 5. So
yeah, exactly. So
I didn't ask her if she could. I don't think she continued that. Let me put it that way. But it's so innocent.
You know, it is innocent, but again, we go back to depending on who your parents are and how you're brought up, is going to really impact how you view the world and your own sexuality. And so, as much as it saddens me, it's getting worse. And I think we need to, in other words, you can't be who you are. You have to be something that society wants you to be, or that society prescribes for you. And
like that word. That's a good word for it, prescribes. I mean, really, you don't prescribe it, somebody else does.
Exactly. Your parents, your peers, your friends. Yeah, it's a struggle, and it is a struggle to come out. For a lot of people, for me, it was just kind of it was an easy transition early on, and then I really had to think about it, because I think that I've discussed this in some of our other interviews. My mother was adamantly opposed to the very idea, and it took many, many years for her to understand that this has nothing to do with her. And yet, because of her upbringing and because of her Catholicism and all the BS that goes alongside, somehow my sexuality was somehow it impacted her life. And it's like, Mom, it has nothing to do with you. Absolutely nothing. But how do you explain that in a way that you're not challenging? So
my mother told me that I was not leading the life that she and God had planned for me.
And what life would that be, Mom?
And I thought, why? I didn't even know God was in on this. I mean, she always had a lot to say, but
that's
she embraced God.
That's such an irony.
She was a convert to Catholicism. So that was,
of course, they're the worst.
Tell me.
It's like when you gosh, I have friends that converted to Judaism. It's like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. You are way over the top. for whatever reason, and it's primarily because of they're marrying into the religion, and they're far more religious about it than their spouse.
Right.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever. But anyway, so next question.
When did you really solidly say, okay, this is who I am, this is where I want to be? And at that time, were you with the person you wanted to be with? Did that influence it?
No.
No.
Yes and no. No, I was when I was I would take a lot of time off between partners. I would just like a year, like 3 years, I would kind of be with myself. And I met Dora, I think when I was about 40. Actually, what happened is through mutual friends, Dora and I met. And so we're still together many years later, but Dora was not the person that I thought I would fall in love with. We really are, we're very different. We're, we have a lot of mutual interests, but we're also not one another's first choice. And we concluded that.
You're not one another's first choice in terms of lovers?
Well, in other words, she's not the person that I thought I would fall in love with, and vice versa.
I understand that.
And then it happened, and we I think we bonded over a lot of interests that we had no idea about. She thinks I'm very opinionated, and I am.
I was going to say, I don't think we're going to argue with her.
Do you have the same opinion? Oh my goodness.
Well, no, you're not afraid, just put out your opinions. So that's what I determine as opinionated.
Well, do you know why? Is when I was very young, if you, okay, as a female in a predominantly Irish German family, you had to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my sisters are very reticent to voice their opinion about anything. And early on, I was like, I'm going to challenge you. I challenged on a lot of things, and it didn't win me friends, but it certainly, I carry that over, and it wins me a lot of enemies, or a lot of people who would like to probably counter my opinions, but theirs are just kind of not very well thought out.
So they don't want to lose. That's what that is, right?
Yeah.
Well, I find Dora the same way. You ask Dora something, she gives you a clear answer.
Oh, she does. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's not somebody
Yeah.
else's first, which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah.
So you have that in common.
Yes, that's one of the things we have in common.
Right.
It took her a while to stand up to me, though.
Uh-huh.
And it was a kind of a surprise when she finally did. It's like, oh, wow, really? Okay, I guess I'm not the
You disagree?
It's fine, she absolutely is entitled to her opinion. And what we have discovered, Dora has a lot of friends that she's had for many, many years. They all went to high school together, and they've remained friends, which I think is fabulous. Most of my friends have disappeared into oblivion. I have only one friend who we are not in we don't talk every day. We talk maybe once or twice a month. And this woman is, I would say, my oldest, dearest friend.
Oh, that's great.
So, but Dora has an entire little group. And when we all get together, it's, there are a lot of opinions thrown around.
Yeah.
They're all, yeah, it really is, it keeps everybody on their toes. And I appreciate that.
So are many of these women lesbians?
No, none of
No.
them. None. It's, the joy is they're all married. And when I first met them as a group, it was a little intimidating. I wasn't quite sure how I would fit into that very tight-knit group. And I believe I am very well accepted now. So yeah, that's been nice.
Mhm. Yeah. I asked that about the group because I thought one of my coming out stages that was helpful. And if we look at this process that we're doing now, that we're hoping we can help somebody come out comfortably, because it's not easy. And anyway, was that I had been invited by someone I worked with who was a lesbian. Anyway, she had a lot of friends, and I could see people getting together, breaking up. So sort of the real life lesbian experience. So I got to watch that and not have to necessarily do it. So that was, otherwise you feel, at that time, actually, I was pretty isolated. So that helped me get out of myself. So, you know, groups of friends are important.
Yeah, absolutely. And the really nice part is when, if you decide that your sexuality is not exactly the same as theirs, and yet they don't put you off to the side because you can't possibly be part of the group anymore. And that was a real possibility. That was, for me, that was a possibility when, but again, it goes back to, I am who I am, and that's all that I am, you know. And when I came out to my dear friend Pat, she was like, no big deal.
Yeah.
So, and that was really nice.
Mhm.
That was exactly how it should be.
Sort of a relief too. I mean, here's this person that's important to you, and you can't really change who you are.
Right. Well, you
Know who
can.
you are. Right.
You can, but I mean, you can, it's kind of like a cloak. You can throw the different clothes on, but the inner core really is, it is who you are. And once you come to that understanding, it makes life a lot easier, I think.
You could draw that.
We could draw that.
You could. I don't draw.
Oh, I can't, I couldn't draw that. I wish I could, but.
No, look at your graphic art, a cloak.
Oh, that's true. The cloak of many colors or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So.
Has it ever stood in your way where you felt that you had to be less than you really wanted to be in a situation?
No.
Mhm.
If I'm, well, when you work in graphics, it's a unique industry in that a lot of creative is gay or lesbian.
Sure.
It is what it, you know, other industries, not so much, but this one, absolutely. So you always feel that people are, they're not sitting there judging you. There may be one or two, but for the most part, they're not. You know, you're just accepted.
That's great.
Your sexuality is not an issue. And that goes pretty much everybody. I don't think that I've ever come across somebody who just looked at me with disdain and walked away, and that was the end of it.
Good.
Yeah.
Disdain and misunderstanding seem to go hand in hand on this.
Yeah. And it's kind of it really is their loss in so many ways. But it is.
So where are you going? Where's your future now?
Well, good question. Where's my future? My future is in front of me. My past is behind me.
You have a relationship that you like and are committed to?
Well, Dora and I have been in a committed relationship for over 30 years. So I would say that's pretty committed.
Probably going to continue. That's great.
Yeah. That's an interesting, that's a question I would like to ask to the 80-some-year-old woman who decided in her 80s that she was a lesbian. Where do you go with that? Because no, seriously, there are so few groups out there that where you can, when I moved to California, or when I moved to Los Angeles rather, there were a number of bars that you could go to and you would meet people, and I didn't necessarily meet anybody there, but you made connections.
You could see things happening with people. I didn't mean anybody I could watch. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. Be that fly on the wall looking at everyone going, interesting.
I saw these two women at a bar dancing together.
Oh my goodness.
Hand in glove, right? And they were in their 50s, I figured. I thought, whoa, those old women. I mean, they could really still dance. I mean, so.
How old were you at the time?
I was probably 20 something.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
But I didn't, as you say, I didn't meet anybody there, but I could watch.
Yeah.
Watch. These two women could really have fun together and be together and enjoy that. Not hide.
Yeah.
Of course, at that time, the police came to the bars because they like to be part of that.
I know.
That was
wait. What do you mean? They like to march those people out, and or
just sort of be threatening, sort of.
Okay, menacing. Yeah, the menacing ass. It's like, do you guys not have anything better to do with your lives? Really?
That was an enjoyment for them. I mean,
When I came out, back east in Richmond, the bars at the time, there was only one or two bars in Richmond when I lived there, and they were owned by the mafia. And so, apparently this was exactly what they did. They would buy these bars, and if you did anything untoward, and I'm not even sure what that entailed at the time, but if they didn't like something that you did, you were 86th. And I thought, this is so bizarre and so controlling, that these guys would be able to exert this kind of pressure on the clientele that came into the bars.
Hour over.
Lisa, my lover at the time, and I had a home, and we would invite our friends over to hang out at our house, and on the weekends rather than go to the bar, because you could be more comfortable with the group. So, and that's actually where I ended up meeting the next lover who I moved to California with, was through one of these group meets. Come on over, we're gonna have beer and whatever, and just dance and have a good time.
That's what that house was like that woman invited me to, where I saw the women. It was the same kind of thing. It was safe. The police didn't even know about it.
Yeah, exactly. And you're at the time, I don't think people, it's kind of like I heard a long time ago something that Queen Victoria said, when asked about the anti-homosexual laws that they were enacting during her lifetime. I guess the officials came and said, well, what about women? And what about lesbians? And Victoria was like, there's no such thing. No, it's like, men do it, but not women. No. So, our neighbors never gave us any problems. And we had women there on the weekend, but we were never harassed. They were quite lovely neighbors. And that was nice. So when I moved to California, it was a different situation. It was much more laid back, is what I would say.
When I grew up in Chicago, 2 houses down, there were these women that lived in the house, and they were having a great time. I thought, oh, they're having so much fun. They were somersaulting in the backyard. I mean, they'd invite other women over. And I thought, wow, it's so happy down at that house. I never thought they were lesbians. Now, of course, I know they probably were, but. And I said to my mom, boy, I forget their names, but I just said, they're really having fun there, a party. I said, too many parties.
So I think your mother knew something you didn't know. Oh my goodness. Oh,
but they enjoyed their life, I can tell you. Those weekends were busy.
Oh, wow.
Nice yard.
That's funny. One of my childhood friends sent me a bunch of photos of her great aunt rather. And it was clear from the photos that her aunt was a lesbian.
Really?
And it was a wonderful group of photos to get. Unfortunately, I misplaced them somewhere along the line. But it was really remarkable. It's, we kind of think, oh yeah, we're the first generation. It's like, no, we're not.
I know. I think the word lesbian is going to go out of favor one of these days.
Yeah. Well, what?
Well, all the new words.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to. I'm sorry. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah, it's a lot. Moving fast.
And we have friends that are transitioning, and for me, that's a little awkward. I think. Why would you want to be a boy? I'm sorry. But then again, I grew up with boys, and I get that boys get a lot of perks, or at least when I was growing up, boys got perks that we didn't get. And I think that was a problem. So, or a frustration.
They still do.
Yeah, I know.
Even when boyhood is over.
And then you turn it into an incel.
Right. You better be careful.
You better grow up. You better get married, or you'll be an incel and you'll hate women.
Well, that's not going to happen to us. We're fortunate. We love women.
Yeah, we do love women.
And we're loved by women.
And yes, we are.
That's a gift.
And we're loved by even women that don't necessarily climb into bed with women. We're
Right.
loved by those women. So it's a win-win, right?
I think same-sex bonding is a natural bonding, frankly. So that's my opinion.
No, I agree with you. And
And look at when as people mature, they ride men in the front, women in the back. I mean, nobody says they just jump in the car that way. That's the way it is, same-sex bonding.
the only difference between same-sex bonding and being a lesbian is what happens in bed.
I think
But
women,
it's exactly the same thing.
we women figure it out.
Yeah, that's true.
We are the creators of life. See,
And why is it, and this brings up such interesting topics. We are the creators.
Mhm.
Absolutely, we're the
it's a
creators.
natural thing. We just free ourselves to be that way.
So that goes far in explaining why men feel so compelled to control their women or women.
Creativity, they're controlling it. Doesn't
Yeah.
work.
It doesn't work. No, we'll find a way. What is it? Nature will, will win out eventually, and we are nature. We are.
Being covert doesn't last forever.
Yeah. Yep.
This is fun. It's interesting. But
Take notes, copious notes.
I
Go off on another tangent somewhere.
no, we're always expanding, so we appreciate your input. All the little segues that we've done come from other women saying, well, how about couples? Why don't you talk about couples or Roe v. Wade? Or, I mean, which is fun.
Did I ever send you I have written several blogs on the Dobbs, taking the abortion rights away from women. I know that I've written about that. I don't know if you've read it. Maybe I should send you those.
Well, you sent something, I think. I remember reading.
Okay.
Yeah. But the archives at Cal State Dominguez Hills, if say you've written something or you'd like to have it archived, you can sign it, date it, and we'll send it to them and they'll do that. It can't be this huge compendium of stuff, but just, like awards or brochures, just acknowledgements of, I think Dora's going to do that too, actually.
Oh, good.
So like somebody's going to send their music that they created.
Very nice. Very nice.
And it's nice that they'll do it. They've been really supportive of us.
Well, it's if the stories aren't somehow set aside, they will, like everything, they will disappear.
These won't.
Good. Good.
Right. It's remarkable. The things I'm learning as I do this and the gifts that people bring, things that they've done, like yourself. I like that. Why not? So keep your ideas coming. Stay in touch with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can always stay in touch with me too. So
I have.
You have, that's true.
I have, right.
Yes, this has been.
I never want to be in an imposition.
Pardon me?
I never want to be an imposition, if you know what I mean.
Oh God, no, Diane, you're never that. You're never that.
You aren't either. So.
And thank you for your for always reaching out. Even if I did have a huge black eye.
I know, it looks really, you healed fast.
Well, it's still just a little bit there. Can you see it?
Did you have?
Barely.
Yeah, but I saw the immediately after picture. It was awful.
Yeah. Well, when you throw yourself onto the pavement, you never end up well. You have to figure it out. No, No, it was the blinding light of the sun, and I'm looking here trying to, and the just went boom right into the street. I felt stupid.
Well, you look good though. But it says a lot for your healing powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Anyway,
Hey, thank you.
thank you so much. We'll
Give us
talk
about
to you
a month
soon.
to get this done. And if you want to send one of your blogs or something, sign it and date it, we'll send it. And
Absolutely.
I told Greg, I said, women are interested in seeing the archives. So we could set
Oh,
up.
that would be nice.
Some of the women are going to come that were this summer, and they'll be in Los Angeles. That's, I said, okay.
We should get a big party together.
Yeah.
And
I'm
do
fine with
it
that.
for a couple of things. We should, the last kind of roundtable that you had, the last discussion you had was really interesting, and I think could be broadened.
Yeah. We were talking, Marge and I were talking about that yesterday. Because we said, where are we going? It just keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I did a speaking engagement at the email club this
Oh,
week.
nice.
You even know what that is? It was amazing.
I do. It was what?
It was amazing. The building itself is amazing.
It is. It is. Yeah.
And they haven't really changed it a lot.
Yes, I know.
So
I know.
I like doing it. I like talking anyway, but so it was fun. But no, so we were talking about where do we go? So we'll see. We keep going. We like it. I'm still, it's fun to meet people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Coming
And
out.
I have met some nice people through you as well.
Yeah, right.
So
It's good. So thank you. Stay in touch.
thank you.
I'll
Will
call you
do.
when this is ready.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye.
You do the same.
Be careful.